tonight. The Battle of Ai. You got your Bibles, turn to Joshua. We'll skip around a little bit in Joshua. It's chapter 7 is mainly where we're going to be. Try to move around a little bit with titles for the lessons. One thing that came to mind was little old Ai. The main one, we get this idiom, little phrase in our life here in Appalachia quite a bit. Because the Bible preaches sin in the can.
Yeah.
How many of you guys ever heard that before? Sin in the can? Whether you've been in church much or not, you've heard that one before? All right. Did a little research, just, get on the iPad, look at something, looked up AI, and of course, historians and archaeologists, this, that, and the other had 2 or 3 different ideas about the Battle of Ai. One was that, of course, it didn't happen that way. Another one was the battle took place, but it was before Israel got there, and Israel took credit for it a little bit later on. Just different things like that. So what do you do with those, professionals, historians, is that do the same thing you do with anything else that contrary to the Word of God, you throw it out.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't matter. Anybody, science, history, archaeology, doesn't matter what it is. Nobody's ever been able to prove the Word of God wrong.
That's right.
Entire time. And that's what we got to have. If you don't have the Word of God, you don't have anything. And God promises He preserved His Word for us. You hear it from any preacher that comes through here, visiting preacher. If you guys were here with the guy that did the pottery, Brother Enos, anybody visitors saw that? That was interesting. Anybody comes through here, they're always saying the same thing. You've got to have the Word of God. You got a King James Bible, that's what you got. A little bit of background here before we get into the Battle of Ai, what happened. Joshua is leading the children of Israel now. And, of course, he's following footsteps of Moses there. Moses led them out of Israel, or out of Egypt. They've been in bondage for 400 years. It's kind of hard to follow somebody's footsteps that had done something great like that. Moses was a great man. He's mentioned a few different times before, the book of Joshua in Exodus chapter 17, that says that they were battling Amalek. It says he discomfited them with the sword. He was kind of the leader of the army for Moses. He was under Moses, and look that word up. It means he absolutely wore him out.
Yeah.
And Moses, he picked him out a couple of good men to lead underneath him. Joshua was the one that did the battles, and he says that he just absolutely wore him out. They couldn't get away from him.
Amen.
He promised them that the promised land was going to be theirs. All they had to do was go and take it. It wasn't going to be easy. They had to fight for it. But he said he was going to fight for them. But 10 of them were scared. There were 2 that weren't, Joshua and Caleb. And that's another mention of Joshua there. He says, no, he says, we need to go do it right now. The land is there. We can take it. And it's worth it. Because he believed in God. He trusted in God's promise. So, what they do? Well, they went with the 10 cowards. They decided that they couldn't handle it. That they were going to not believe in God's word. So, what did God do for them? Well, he let them take the scenic route. For the next 40 years, they wandered around. And what he was doing, I guess, in a way, was preparing them for the battles that they did have to fight. All the men of Israel that came out of Egypt, out of bondage, perished during that 40 years. God got rid of all of them, except for 2, Joshua and Caleb, because they believed in him. We'll read a little bit more about that in just a minute when we get to Joshua. We'll go through a little bit of history and timeline, but God mentions that again. He reminds us through the scripture that's what happened. And even here in Joshua, he reminds us again why they wandered around. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I hate getting lost. You've got GPS, got your cell phone, whatever it is, and you can, I remember one time, Tammy and I were in Nashville. I was down there for a state conference, this, that, or the other, and I could see the hotel. I knew that's where I needed to be, but I could not get there. And that was the most aggravating thing to me. Now gas is high as it is, you wander around for 30 minutes, there's $10 down the drain, and everything else. But these guys, just because of their faithlessness in God, wandered for 40 years. And God weeded out the dead meat, all the dead weight. He got rid of everybody except for the ones that trusted him. And that's important because the ones that came out of Egypt were circumcised. And we'll get to that in a minute too, because that was one of the things God wanted to do before they went to Battle of Jericho. And that was something Brother Eaton said preached on too, was the Battle of Jericho, because he was doing the pots and everything. And I'd never thought of it. Everybody reads something in the Bible and they get a different view of it. Of course, he being a potter, he realized, how the lights were and everything. But let's go on here a little bit. So, why is Joshua leading the children of Israel now? What happened to Moses? Well, one time Moses did something he wasn't supposed to. Now, God let him see the promised land, took him up on the mountain and look at it, but I can't let you leave him in because you didn't listen to him. One time. That's all it took. Now, Moses was a great man, but he didn't follow God's instructions. One time. And I guess listening to people complain for 40 years would probably get on most people's nerves. And that may have been it more than anything else. But still, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing, what everybody else has done, what everybody else has said. It's a singular relationship between you and God. And that's all that matters. God holds you responsible for your decisions, your actions. Doesn't worry about anybody else's. It's one-on-one with God.
That's right.
And when Moses didn't do what he was supposed to, God says, I'll let you see it, but you can't go there. And then it was Joshua's turn. He was the one that led the children of Israel in. Now, once Joshua took over, I don't know if it was in the back of his head that maybe, now I'm behind Moses. Moses led us out of 400 years of bondage. How am I going to do this? He didn't worry about that. He listened and trusted in God. God promised him. He says, they're going to follow you just like they did Moses. I'm going to be with you just like I was with Moses. Joshua said, okay, let's go. Now, does that mean Joshua had it free and easy all the way? No, he had some trouble. And it all comes back to sin in the camp because, he didn't follow through with everything he was supposed to. God had very specific instructions for him every time that they went to battle. And if you read the book of Joshua, you'll find out some things that when they did what they were supposed to, God blessed them. All right, let's look at chapter 4. One of the things that happened here, before they got into the battle of Jericho, which was the first city, God let them come across on dry land. Priests come across as soon as they stepped in the river there and had the Ark of the Covenant, waters parted. And they walked across on dry land. God prepared a way for them. And then once they got over there, they had the Battle of Jericho. Now, Jericho was a big walled city, and it was a pretty big task for them to defeat them. But they listened, and God gave them very specific instructions for 6 days what they were supposed to do. The 7th day, he gave it to them. And they followed the directions. They did everything they were supposed to. Let's look at chapter 5. And it came to pass when all the kings of the Amorites, which were on the side of Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of Jordan from before the children of Israel until we were passed over, that their heart melted, neither was there spirit in them any more. everybody that knew that Israel was coming got weak kneed. They knew that God was on their side, and they feared. At that time the Lord said unto Joshua, Make thee sharp knives, and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time. And Joshua made them sharp knives, and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of foreskins. And this is the cause why Joshua did circumcise. And God's reminded them of what happened in the 40 years that they wandered in the wilderness. All the people that came out of Egypt that were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way after they came out of Egypt. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed, because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord, unto whom the Lord sware that he would not show them the land, which the Lord sware unto their fathers that he would give us, a land that floweth with milk and honey. When God makes promises, he makes them good. Right. It's just not a little bit here and there. It's the grandeur of everything. Right. And their children, whom he raised up in their stead, them Joshua circumcised, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way. And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp till they were whole. And the Lord said to Joshua, This day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you. And that was the last step for them before they got into the promised land. God said, I'm going to take all the sin and reproach from when you were, in bondage in Egypt. And that was the last step. That was a sign for the Jews, was circumcision. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal, and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at the Eden plains of Jericho. So after they were circumcised, they had Passover, and then they were ready to go to war. And when they went to the battle of Jericho, they followed God's directions just like they were supposed to. And God gave them the victory. Now, you would think, after beating this big walled city Jericho, they would maybe trust in God. God let them walk across the river on dry land there, let them part the waters. And he gave them the battle of Jericho. You would think, well, maybe they would get it straight in their heads. You guys ever learn something the first time around? How many times does it take sometimes? Hugo, I don't know. When he was young, we were afraid we were going to have to homeschool him because I didn't know if he was going to go to school or not. He just, he would just do things, say things. He was pretty smart, but we were just afraid he was just going to be too much for the school teachers to handle. And but now, he's coming along pretty good. Elijah's the same way. Elijah, he'll ask, was Elijah asked you a question, what's that mean? Now he says, you already know the answer. I said, that's right. Elijah's coming along pretty good. Now some of us, run our head up against the wall. We just don't seem to get the lesson. So this is what happened to them when they got in. Now I don't know for sure. It could be a combination of the thing. I know for one, it's this right here, sin in the camp. We know that's why they lost. And God even tells us that in the first verse of chapter 7. Now, I looked up this word here, or phrase, I guess it is. Rest on his laurels. That's supposed to be me. I think maybe Joshua thought, well, we had the battle of Jericho, everything went so good there. Maybe we won't have to worry too much about the rest of this. Yeah. Look that up. Rest on his laurels. They used to be these little, not really necklaces, but kind of like crowns they would make out of leaves for every time you had a victory and you were going to war. And when you rest on your laurels, that means you kind of give up on trying. You think, well, I've done this and that. I'm okay now. I'll just go on. That's not the way it works. It's an everyday battle.
Amen.
When we get to sin, we can't. We'll talk a little bit more about that too. Now, second thing. Listen to some bad advice. Let's read a little bit here. First word of chapter 7. But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. And God, it's kind of funny the way he wrote chapter 7. Before the battle even takes place, he tells us what's going to happen. Yeah. It's kind of like a spoiler alert. This is what's going to happen. Because of the accursed thing. They did something they weren't supposed to do. When the first word of the chapter is but, that's a conjunction. I'm an English teacher. It shows contrast. Okay? You can do this, but you can't do that. So when the chapter starts out with but, you got to do that. But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. For Achan, he names it. A lot of people in the Bible, I don't know if you want to be the one Get your name in there for this. And he goes through the family line too. He lets you know exactly who he was.
Right.
But Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took of the accursed thing, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel. And Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai. This Ai, it doesn't even really make a word. You just say the two letters.
Yeah.
And I was just always thinking, little old Ai, did he really think that it wasn't that much of a deal? Listen to his advice that he gives. And they returned to Joshua and said unto him, let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite Ai, and make not all the people labor thither, for they are but a few. So the scouts come back and they give him some bad advice. Now what did God tell him to do? Battle of Jericho, he says all, A-L-L. Everybody goes. Everybody, God didn't change his mind. God gives you a plan, you stick to it. He's like, oh, let's do it different this time. No, this is the way you're going to do it. Okay? He told you. In all the other chapters, if you look, we'll get back to the word all here in a few minutes. When they do what they were supposed to, when all the children of Israel went to battle, they all came back.
Right. Amen.
So, he listened to some bad advice. And what did he give? So there went up thither, this is verse 4, of the people about 3,000 men, and they fled before the men of Ai. Little old Ai whooped them, and they ran. Now what do you think Joshua's going to do now? It's kind of funny what he does, and it's kind of funny the way God answers him too. Rested on his laurels, and he listened to some bad advice. Number 3, didn't follow God's plan. He only sent some of them up. They all didn't go. They said, oh, let everybody go. Everybody don't have to do this. I don't know about you, but I'm out working. I like somebody to come help me.
Yeah.
I was telling last night, I said, I've been working. I said, I like somebody to help me come do it, whatever it is. I don't like to do it all by myself. I don't want to praise that much. I'd rather have somebody help me. That's what God says. He said, I want his all to go up.
Right.
But they didn't do that. And they fled before the men of Ai. That's important because Joshua uses that to his advantage in the next little bit. And the men of Ai smote them about 30 and 6 men, for they chased them from before the gate, even in the Shebarim, and smote them in the going down. Wherefore the hearts of the people melted, and became as water. Now before, when they came over, fought the battle of Jericho, it was everybody else that was afraid of Israel. Now Israel, hearts like water.
Yep.
Heard the phrase weak as water? That's what they were like. And what's Joshua do? He's the leader. He's the one that's supposed to figure this stuff out. What's he do? And Joshua rent his clothes, verse 6, and fell on the earth upon his face before the ark of the Lord until the eventide. He and the elders of Israel put dust upon their heads. And Joshua said, Alas, O Lord God, wherefore hast thou at all brought this people over Jordan to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites, to destroy us? Would to God we had been content and dwelt on the other side of Jordan. He said it would have been better if we never came to the promised land. We should have just stayed over there. He's ready to give up. One little bump in the road, and he's ready to quit. I'm too hard-headed for that. I just keep going. Whether I'm right or wrong, I tendency is you want to be right, you want to be happy. And I keep thinking in my head, if I'm right, does it really matter? But Joshua's ready to give up. One battle. Dave's laughing. He's been married. He knows what it's like. You ever heard that one, Dave? Verse 8. O Lord, what shall I say when Israel turneth their backs before their enemies? Now he's worried about what everybody's going to think about him. He's the leader. And God lets him pout there. And that's what he's doing. He's pouting.
Right.
Verse 8. Or verse 9. I'm sorry, 8. O Lord, what shall I say when Israel turneth their backs before their enemies? For the Canaanites and all the inhabitants of the land shall hear of it, and shall environ us around, and cut off our name from the earth. And what wilt thou do unto thy great name? So he's forgot everything God promised him. He says, they're going to completely wipe us out now. Everybody's heard, we've ran before Ai, little old Ai. Now Joshua, everything for a minute. Who was he blaming?
Yeah.
Did he ever think for a minute that maybe it was something he did?
Right.
Or something he didn't do?
Good.
Sin of omission, commission doesn't matter. If you know you're supposed to do something, you don't do it, same thing.
Amen.
5 kids apiece. Now we're into the hundreds. You know, your decisions don't affect you.
That's right. Amen.
They affect everybody around you.
Amen.
Family, loved ones, everything we do. Even if it's somebody, you know, let's say you decide to drive while drunk or whatever it is, cross the line. Person in the other lane didn't have anything to do with that decision. Now who's going to pay for it?
Right.
Sin in the can. Everybody's responsible for your own decisions. Hear a lot about peer pressure. Now, kind of said this at the house. I'm not a big fan of peer pressure. Everybody says, well, you know, so and so, this and that. Everybody's doing it. So and so, he said it's okay. This, that, he did it. She said this and that. So what?
Yeah. Amen.
Peer pressure is a farce to me. Everybody is responsible for their own decisions.
Right.
Doesn't matter what everybody else does. God holds you responsible.
Amen.
And that's the end of it. You know, peer pressure or not, I did it because so-and-so did. Doesn't matter what they did. You're responsible for your own decisions. God's response to him, he says, up and sanctify the people and say, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, for thus saith the Lord God of Israel. There is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Israel. Thou canst not stand before thine enemies until you take away the accursed thing from among you. Now God gives him a plan. He tells him exactly what he wants him to do. Verses 14 down, he says, this is what I want you to do. I want you to line everybody up, get all the tribes of Israel, you divide them up by their families, and he says, I want you to go down through the list. Now imagine if you were Achan.
Right.
You know you're the guilty one. And you see Joshua lining people up. Man, he's got to be sweating. But did he go ahead and confess? No. He waited till they fingered him. Right to the very end, he held out. I wonder if he's thinking, who's going to skip over me? Now, God's thorough.
Right. Amen.
So Joshua, this is verse 16. Joshua rose up early in the morning and brought Israel by their tribes. The tribe of Judah was taken. Now, remember how God listed everybody a minute ago? Takes the tribe of Judah. He took the family of the Zerites. He brought forth the family of the Zerites, man by man. Zabdi was taken, and he brought his household man by man. And Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, was taken. I don't know how long it took. I don't know how many, if he was the first one on the list, or if God said, I want you to start with Judah, or whatever it was. But however long it was probably too long for Achan. He was sweating the whole time. Now, even though they hadn't done what they were supposed to, God still had a plan. He says, this is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to line them up. This is how I want you to go through and find out who it was. And now Joshua's listening all of a sudden. He's ready to listen to God. And he brought his, verse 19, and Joshua said unto Achan, my son, give, I pray thee, glory to the Lord God of Israel, and make confession unto him, and tell me now what thou hast done, hide it not from me. And Achan answered Joshua and said, indeed I have sinned against the Lord God of Israel, and thus have I done. When I saw among the spools a goodly Babylonish garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold, and 50 shekels weight, then I covered them and took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth, in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it. Goes right back to what God told us. Is this even amongst your own stuff? Some clothes and money. That's what it was worth. Lives of 36 men. Clothes and money. I don't know how much all that equals out to. Probably not much. Clothes, wedge of gold, and some silver. Was it worth it? That was another question I had. Title of this lesson. Was it worth it? I guess if you ask those widows, it probably wasn't.
Right.
If you ask those guys that didn't have a dad anymore, it probably wasn't. But God's not done dealing with the sin. Let's read on. Verse 22, let's listen to how they deal with it. Now they've already ran from the men of Ai. So Joshua sent messengers and they ran into the tent. They were ready to do what God's will was. They ran to find out what the problem was. And behold, it was hid in his tent and the silver under it, just like he said it was. That reminded me of what Brother Edward said up here 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago when it was he gave his testimony and saw the police cars lined up. He thought his wife was probably going to be red bus. And his little girl said, yeah, because you took me there before. Edward didn't know that. He didn't remember that. But it affected his family, didn't it? She believed it.
Yep.
You know. And they took them out of the midst of the tent and brought family. His tent, everything he owned. His cattle, and also his kids.
Wow.
Every single thing. They, it was sin in the camp. You can't have sin.
Wow.
Now, it already affected these 36 men. Now is it getting ready to affect? You know? And Joshua said, why hast thou troubled us? The Lord shall trouble thee this day. And all Israel stoned him with stones and burned them with fire after they had stoned him with stones. And they raised over him a great heap of stones unto this day. So the Lord turned from his fierceness of his anger, wherefore the name of that place was called the Valley of Achor to this day. Sin in the camp. Was it worth it? Do you get away with it? Sometimes you do. In your head you think you do. I had a little trouble with Elijah asking me about sneaking out. I said, Elijah, what's your percentage rate of sneaking out and getting caught? He said, about 65%. Now, the 2 times he got caught, he crashed, so that kind of does away with that, doesn't it? You know? Do you always get caught? Maybe not by people here, but who knows? God always knows. God knows everything. He knows the intent of your heart.
Right.
I had a boy in class last semester. Good Christian kid. How do I know that? Because he gave me a tract. Said, you need Jesus. Now, I don't know if he thought I needed Jesus or just because I was hateful in class. Either way, the boy gave me a tract. And one day at Walmart, Hugo and I get in the bowl. I think it was for the chickens. I'm not 100% sure it was a heat bowl. It was like $6, $7. It wasn't just a regular white bowl. And I said, Hugo, you carry this? I said, we'll look right here and get something. You know, I can get this 2, 3 little things. You know, Hugo did, don't you? Sounded like a gun went off. It scared me. And we were right here just a few feet from the aisle. About that time that boy walked by when Hugo dropped that. Scared me out of jumped. Of course, Isaiah, I should have told you his name. He started laughing. He just kept walking. And I said, Hugo, what in the world are you doing? And then Isaiah texted me. He said, you'll need to pay for that. And I said, well, so went and got, never get, if you needed somebody at Walmart, I had to go all the way back to customer service to find somebody. Usually there's blue coats everywhere. I said, we dropped a bowl up here. I said, you need to clean up your glass and everything. And she said, that's okay. We'll get it. I went and showed her what it was. I said, we need to pay for it. She said, no, it's okay. It happens all the time. And I talked to that boy a little bit later. I told him, I said, it wasn't the fact that you saw me, Isaiah. I said, well, maybe it would be. I said, it wasn't the fact that Walmart probably had cameras on it. And it wasn't even the fact that God said, you need to do the right thing. Hugo was there.
Mm-hmm.
And if I said, oh, let's go, what's he gonna think? Every single thing you do, guys, somebody's watching.
Amen.
I don't know if anybody's got kids or not. Hugo's 6 years old. He got saved just a few weeks ago. You could just see the relief on him when he got saved. He got baptized. He's still excited about it.
Yeah.
But how do you handle things? I told Isaiah, I said, did anything do with you, me, or Walmart, or anybody else? I said, I had to worry about Hugo. That was a chance for me to teach him right from wrong.
Yes.
Is he going to remember that? I don't know. He'll probably drop another bowl next time we go to Walmart. But I got to do what's right by him.
Yeah.
Let's keep looking here. And I'm running out of time. I don't know. It'll probably end running right now. That's right. I'm going to have enough. Rested on his laurels. We talked about that. God's response. Talked about how he told Joshua what he needed to do. Led the sin in the camp. Now, in Solomon 2:15, I use this with my soccer teams all the time. Talks about little foxes. Take us to the foxes, the little foxes that spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes. Grapes again. Tell my kids on the soccer team, I said, we got about 2 acres of field here, 11 people. If one person don't do their job, somebody else has to come in and handle that. And then their job is lacking. So then we're all running circles. It's little bitty things. Some of the teams we play soccer year round, CAK, they win all the time, beat us and everything. One of the things is control touch when the ball comes to them. They do it without thinking. Our guys have to think about it. We're about 50% now. Dave comes to some games, he knows. But we're getting better at it. A little thing like that about what the ball, what are you going to do to it when it gets to you? And I always tell them guys, I said, it's the little foxes. And they look at me, I don't know about Henry, but they're always looking at me. What are you talking give them this verse. I said, guys, it's little things. What's Solomon telling us there? All through the book of Proverbs and Psalms, God warned us about sin. Why is that so important? What's the little foxes got to do with it? Well, little foxes can't get to the grapes. So what do? They tear the whole vine down to get to it. They can't jump up there. They're not big enough. So they drag it down and then destroy the vine. No more grapes. It's the little things, guys. Every single day. Wall builders. Read the Bible, pray, hand out tracts, come to church. If Christians would do that, what a change we could make for the cause of Christ.
Amen.
You know? Alright. Let's move on again. And I don't know what the percentage should be. I figured about 98% of our troubles in life is because of sin. Every now and then God gives us trials and tribulations to go to. We have to figure out what we need to do and get better at this or that or the other. But most of the time when we have trouble in our life, it's because of sin. God's word is full of warnings all through it. So what's it got to do with it? Little old word like sin. Everything has consequences. Every single time you do something, you have to get away from it. I don't know how much you guys have thought about it, but it brought that pretty plain tonight. You got to be a Christian first, guys. You got to get sin out of your life. You can't do anything. You can't defeat any of the problems that you have unless you follow Christ first. You've got to get sin out of your life, and the only way to do that is Jesus Christ. He's the only answer. Doesn't matter what you've been taught. Doesn't matter what you believe. God's word, and it's very clear and plain. He is the only way to get out of your troubles, and you got to trust Him first. Now, not only did God punish them, but He also provided them a way out, and they took care of that. Now, after Achan confessed, they were done with him. Then what did they do? Well, the next time they went to fight Ai, Joshua did pretty much the opposite. He didn't rest on his laurels. He didn't listen to some bad advice. He took God's advice. And he followed God's plan. He also had a little strategy there too. He told him, he said, what we're going to do is you 30,000 men, you go way over here by the city and you hide out and you wait for my sign, signal. He said 10,000 men over here. He said, what we're going to do, we're going to go fight and we're going to run away from them like we did before. And then they're going to chase us. And then you 30,000 men, you guys fall right in there and you take the city. And it worked out exactly like he wanted it to. Because he listened to God, followed God's plan, got rid of sin. And what happened? They absolutely laid waste to everything, just like they were supposed to. They threw the people out. I said, oh, they're running from us again. Let's go after them. When they got there, then Joshua had them on two sides because the other 10,000 came out. It says they were fighting this way and that. They took it because when they saw the city burning, they tried to go back. They couldn't. There's no going back. He did what he was supposed to. Listen to God. Now, the more you come, the more you hear wall builders, but you guys have got to get one thing in your head. If I don't get sin in my life, I can never get it fixed. And the only way to do that is through Jesus Christ. Did they learn their lesson? No, the next couple chapters they messed up again. Some of the kings came and tricked them. And it says very plainly in